Hey everyone, Kyle once again, aka Drowsy Godzilla fan, and welcome back to another movie review. I chose to do this a review on this movie because, and it's also one of my favorite animated films. It was released today, March 26th, year 2010, and that is How to Train Your Dragon. What can I say? I absolutely love How to Train Your Dragon. You know, and I'm gonna enjoy doing this review. Like I said, yeah, so I just had to do this review because today, March 26th, you know, it was released today, 4 years ago. Can't believe it's in year 2010. Can't believe it's been 4 years, you know. Like I say, it got critically acclaimed, newest praise, and finally making a sequel that's gonna come up during the summer, June of 2014, which I'm really looking forward to seeing. I'm really looking forward to seeing that film because I absolutely love this film. Next to my second favorite, maybe I would say it's my second favorite film from DreamWorks Animation. Of course, my number one film, Monsters vs. Aliens. But I still love this film, so I'm really looking forward to seeing it. And like I said, it's funny, they already want to make a sequel that's going to be released in June 13th, 2014, and they're already have plans to make a third film was going to be released in June 17th, 2016. So the film hasn't come out yet. Well, like about a while back, they have already plans to make a third one too. You know, so second one hasn't come out, and they already started making plans for a third film. Well, they're also making plans to make a third Kung Fu Panda as well. So, but I'm really looking forward to seeing the sequel to this. I'm really looking forward to it. All the original cast from the first film is gonna be in it. So, but again, the first film, you know, I also have I bought the poster online, you know, which I will eventually get framed, you know. Well, actually, my mistake. I didn't buy it online. I got it at I got it at a place that has posters, so I figured why not, because I love this film, so I wanted to get it. So I will get this framed, and I will eventually hang it up. So I have the poster right here. Really nice poster. And so the film was released. I already said that released, but I'll say it again. Released March 26, 2010. Had a big opening weekend. Well, no, it made, I think it was like it would have made like a 45 million opening over the weekend. And it was a very huge success on a budget of 165 million, and it made it the 10th highest grossing film of 2010. Just made the list. And it barely made on the top grossing list in 2010 because I mean, it was total worldwide was 194 million. 494 million, and it nearly beat Clash of the Titans that had a 493 million. So just by like a little over $1 million, this made on the top 10 list in 2010. So it's barely beating out Clash of the Titans. I guess I got a lot of praise. It's an 8.2 on IMDb and has 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, which it's very like almost 100% for a DreamWorks animation film. And I think it's also the most highest rating DreamWorks film that's on Rotten Tomatoes as well. So I'm glad I got some praise, and you know, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it. So the voice cast, you have Jay Baruchel with you've seen him in from Knocked Up, This Is the End, The Sorcerer's Apprentice, and Brisley appeared in the RoboCop remake, which I think his character was pretty much pointless in it though, but I like Jay Baruchel. I like when he voiced Hiccup in How to Train Your Dragon. And I did like him in This Is the End. I'm not a fan. I'm not a big fan of Knocked Up or, but I really do enjoy him as the voice of Hiccup. And then you have other cast members. You have Gerard Butler. Gerard Butler as a Stoic, the Viking chief of Burke and Hiccup's father. Gerard Butler from 300. And then other ones you have America Ferrera, who from Ugly Betty. She was Ugly Betty, and Craig Ferguson is Gobber, Stoick's best friend, who sees a Viking who has has a missing hand, but he makes it like weapons on top of it, Then you have the other kids of Christopher Mintz-Plasse as Fish Legs, Jonah Hill as Snotlout, and then T.J. Miller and Kristen Wiig as the twins, Rough Nut and Tough Nut. So it opens up with Hiccup narrating about his village, and he's saying why it's an old village, but the buildings are new because of the pests, because they got because of course they got dragons, They're always stealing their food and stuff, He said the buildings are always new because they're always setting them on fire, always rebuilding them, And of course, Hiccup, he's how he wants to be a Viking because he wants to kill the dragons, also the kids do out there though. But he just want to make weapons though. But he wants to kill a dragon real bad, But he had this little invention to throw this what was the thing that you throw? It has steel balls attached to it, and you throw it. Forgot what that's called. But he has to go. He decides to go off out there, and he basically looking for one. He sees one, and he shoots it, and he actually hit though, and he actually hits the knife fury, which is the fastest most that goes unseen by no one knows. No one has ever seen a knife fury. You can't describe what it looks like. All it knows it's fast and it never misses his target. So he says that he hit, but then he gets attacked by one of the dragons. The one that makes the large orange dragon that makes his body engulfed in fire and flames. Because he gets in the way, and he also lose the sheep. And his father is not happy about it. But then he tries to tell that he had a knife here, but nobody believes him. So there's a night, that his friend Gobber insists that he lets Hiccup enroll with dragon training with the rest of the kids, But later on in the day, the next day, he goes out and finds where the knife fury landed. He sees that it hit a tree, it hit the ground, and he sees it. It's all tangled up in the rope. He thinks it's dead, but it's alive, and he takes his knife, and he's about to kill it though, and he looks into the knife fury's eye. So, but he does, and so he decides to let it go. So, and then it begins with their he goes and begins with their dragon training. With some of the captured dragons they have, different species. But he keeps on questioning, has anybody ever seen a knife fury? What does it look like? This and that, So after that, he still goes off, finds the knife fury. He's trapped in this canyon, this canyon that he can't get out of because he tries to fly, but he can't. But because the one of his the edge of the bit of his tail, the smaller things that's the end. I forgot what they're called. he will one of the parts that's missing at the edge of his tail. That makes it help guide it so it can fly. That's missing, so that's why he can't get out of there because he can't fly properly without it. So, but. And he could like draw a sketch of it to make it know what Night Fairy looks like, and he tries to later tries to gives it a fish, like he doesn't want to hurt it, so he throws his knife away to gain its trust, and he opens his mouth and he has no teeth, and he's like toothless, because sworn he's like makes his teeth pop up and eats the fish, And that's why he calls the name Toothless, because I'm sure anybody's seen How to Train Your Dragon. Of course, his name is Toothless. But then, he goes and regurgitates half of it out, and so it makes Hiccup eats it, And just Toothless is just sitting there, watching, and make sure he eats it, So he goes in to make later he goes in and makes a makeshift a prosthetic tail to help make him fly properly, And while this is going on, when oops, accidentally dropped it, and he tries to but first before that, before all that, he's just sitting there sketching a picture of it, and Toothless, Chase takes a glance, just makes scribbles around it, And of course, when you get pretty much like this scene, but it's not nighttime. It's like in the mid-evening, where he just he turns his head down, and so he can touch it, like this, like right here, so he knows not to harm him. Then he goes and makes a makeshift prosthetic tail, to make sure it gets everything correct. And when something goes wrong though, so he makes a different adjustment, and all that's going on, while during training, he tries to he starts with the other dragons that they have captured. It's like first with the Zippleback, the two-headed green one, is like back I say, and just lures it back to stage by throwing it like an eel because dragons don't like eels. And everyone's like, wow, that's amazing, Does with the other ones, and also that Astrid is getting frustrated that he's getting away with it trying not to kill it though, but she's wondering where is he keeps on going after this, after training goes off, he doesn't want to tell her. And so finally he gets the right corrections for the harness, so he can ride Toothless, and makes for the saddle, it makes it shift gears for the tail to go with the wind right, to make him fly properly, and all that is a very good success, And his dad returns, because before at the beginning he wants to go on a search to find the dragon's lair, but to no avail, doesn't find it. So he comes back and he hears all this great news that Hiccup is now has like what Gopper tells him, he is away with dragons, He's very happy that his son is doing good in dragon training, but then one day the next day that Astrid follows Hiccup. Astrid follows Hiccup, and he sees the Night Fairy coming towards him, but Astrid says, no, it's fine. He's okay, You scared him, And he says, and introduces Toothless Astrid Toothless. She goes to run away, and I like what he goes. He's like, da, we're dead. I always thought that when I saw that in the trailer, like, da, we're dead. That was pretty funny. So he goes and takes Astrid up in this tree. Tells him, it's okay. Let me show you. Let me show you that everything's all right. And because and Toothless first doesn't like Astrid, he goes and flies erratically, and he goes like, "Thank you for nothing, you useless reptile." So while the flying around, and Astrid's like, "Oh wow, this is great," and then it's nighttime, and they fly amongst with all the other dragons that are hurdling the livestock, and they enter the dragon's lair and all different dragons, and they're dropped in all this into this hole. But the reason why are they dropping all into the hole until one of the dragons like spits out this piece of fish, and then this huge dragon, which is called the Red Death, eats it. And that's the reason why they're taking, and that's the explanation why they're taking all the food and stuff to feed this big, huge dragon that they've never seen before. So they get out of there, and they're wondering what they're gonna do, because the next day is Hiccup's exam, and finally his dad's finally got to see him kill a dragon, but Hiccup doesn't know what to do. Otherwise, he'll find out about Toothless, and so they decide to keep the dragon's lair, and that's a secret. He's willing to do that so Toothless doesn't get harmed. So when the day comes, and so they let out that big that orange dragon that engulfs his body in flames, which later on in the series is called Hook Fang. That's not loud rides. He does pretty much the same thing, tries to touch it, but they're telling him to kill it, and then when the dragon goes after Hiccup, the Toothless intervenes, saves him, tries to protect him, but all the Vikings try to attack Toothless, and Hiccup's going, no, don't hurt him, but they capture Toothless, and now Stoic is now very upset. Hiccup accidentally tells him about why the dragon's taking stuff, but actually reveals where their nest is. So Stoic is gonna plan to use Toothless to take him to the dragon's lair. Then Hiccup says, wondering, tells himself why did he just kill him in the first place, and after asks him why, and finally tells him that because he looked more afraid than I was, So he gets an idea to let all the captured dragons, let all the with the kids there, so they can all ride to the dragon's lair. So the rest of the Vikings arrive, and they catapult this wall, breaks open, leaves a hole, and sees all the dragons in it. But they all fly out thinking, "Oh, we won the battle." But the Red Death shows up and starts fighting with all the Vikings on the ground. But until the rest of the gang, Hiccup and his friends, with the other dragons, trying to distract the Red Death while he gets Toothless free, but his dad helps releases him. So then Toothless and Hiccup, they fight the Red Death, shooting at it, but then the Red Death flies, is this huge dragon, so it flies with them, flies all the way up into above the clouds, and it's where the Red Death can't see, and they're shooting bang bang bang, all around it. But as the Red Death shoots his flame, Toothless's prosthetic tail gets caught on fire, so they have little time for one last idea. So as they're diving down, and just about when the Red Death is about to shoot its flame, Hiccup tells Toothless to turn all the way around and shoots right into the Red Death's mouth, making itself. You see its wings all start to tear up and all that, and when it finally hits the ground, it explodes in the big cloud of flames. But Hiccup gets knocked off, and Toothless dives down to save him, and you can't see because they fall into the flames. But as the smoke clears, they see Toothless on the ground, and Stoic is devastated, thinking that his son is dead. Though, but Toothless had Hiccup wrapped up in his wings, saving him, but unconscious but alive. And then later, Hiccup wakes up in his bed, and Toothless is inside his house, and he's like, oh no! But then, as he gets out of bed, it revealed that he lost his left foot. He has a prosthetic foot made by a gobber. And he opens the door and says, all the dragons all out there, and everybody greets him, cheers him, and then Astrid, gives him a good punch. He's like, that's for scaring me. Then she kisses him, and Stoic says, everyone just needs to know, the village needs more of all of you and all of this, and Higgins like, you just gesture to all of me, And Gobber gives him a brand new prosthetic tail for Toothless, where it has like a skull on it, And the film and it ends with him narrating about his town, and everything's normal, but now they got dragons living with them now. I would say I always loved How to Train Your Dragon. I always loved the film. And yeah, I love Monsters vs. Aliens, but I also love this film as well. I would say two of the best of the films that the DreamWorks have made. I did that brief review of Mr. Peabody and Sherman. I enjoyed that film as well. That was another good film from DreamWorks. DreamWorks have always made good films, And I never think I liked another DreamWorks animated film, Maybe I wasn't a fan of there was like a couple of them they did try traditional anime, what was it, Road to El Dorado, or was it the Legend of Sinbad? I think that was called. But I don't think those films didn't do that well. Although I did like another film that was like almost in a traditional animated for those from DreamWorks. It was Spirit, about the horse, Spirit, was it? That's right. This film right here. Yeah, I think this is like the traditional animated film it looks kind of traditional animated film, but like a little bit of how the film is though. But I also like this film. I was never really a fan of The Legend of Sinbad or The Road to El Dorado. I was never a fan of those, But compare like those two films and this film, out of those three, I like this film. Just want to point that out though. So, but like the real, almost like the real this kind of animation, I really do enjoy this film. So, and then the film was popular. In 2012, they released they released the series, called DreamWorks Dragons. First season 1 was called Riders of Berk, and then season 2 was called Defenders of Berk. And I have those as well. So. Here we go. I got season 1 of part 1 and part 2, and then I've heard that recently they have just released part 1 to Defenders of Berk, so I will gladly get those. So I also enjoy the animated series, which was funny because this series has been released on Cartoon Network, which all the other ones, the DreamWorks televisions like Penguins in Madagascar, Monsters vs. Aliens, and Kung Fu Panda has been released from Nickelodeon, which is funny. I think they think it probably too many those series is probably too much, so they decide to release this on Cartoon Network. So, but even the television show got praise as well. So, which makes me happy, you know. I love the TV show. And I just heard that now that the season 2 has ended, they're also going to make a third season called Dragon Masters, which I'm not sure if it's going to be still before the second film or after the second film. So I'm not entirely sure though. So my guess is I think it's going to be after. I guess what I think. I think my guess is it's going to be after number 2, after How to Train Your Dragon 2. You know, so I'm looking forward to seeing it. So I will look forward to seeing it, and I'm also really looking forward to seeing the sequel, which I'm really looking forward to. And I know without a doubt that's also going to be on my top 10 list of 2010 because I love this film a lot, and I'm really going to enjoy the sequel. And the sequel, like I said, all the original cast is going to come back, and like even the TV show, most of the original cast still voices on the TV show. Jay Baruchel, America Ferrera, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, and T.J. Miller. They're the only ones that still plays as the voices of Hiccup, Astrid, Fish Legs, and Tough Nut. But all the other ones, like obviously Gerard Butler is not going to do in this show, so, or Craig Ferguson. So yeah, but most of the, but at least like some of the main cast still comes back as the main characters in the TV show. So I'm glad about that. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the sequel. You know, I will also get the poster to the sequel. So don't worry about that. And I will frame that and I'll hang that up. So yeah, I don't know more I can say. Scott Manst, Access Hollywood, spectacular, must see. Absolutely agree on that. Claudia Poog Pig or something like that. Of US Today, a thrilling action adventure, and Peter Travers of Rolling Stone. Funny and touching, I do agree with that. And Gene Shalit of Today, wonderful, good time hit. I agree with all of those, you know. So, and also like I said, the film was a huge success at the box office, like barely make it onto the top 10 list of 2010, you know. So it's number 10. Budget $65 million, total worldwide made $494 million, nearly beating out Clash of the Titans for the top 10 spot of 2010, and made like 217 million in the U.S. Very, very successful, and it was nominated for 2 Academy Awards for Best Original Score and for Best Animated Feature. Sadly, neither of those won. I wish I won those. And it was also nominated for a Golden Globe Award for Best Animated Feature, but didn't win that either. Wish I would have won those because it deserves it. So, and hopefully the sequel will make more than the first film, you know. So yeah. So that's my review of How to Train Your Dragon. If anybody else loves this film, so I'm sure they're also looking forward to seeing the sequel. I know I would. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the sequel to How to Train Your Dragon 2. So thanks for watching, take care, and stay tuned for the next movie review. Later.